It is more important to win elections than it is to win Facebook arguments.
Oh, yes.
And that counts for school board. You know, a lot of the craziest Republicans who are ruining the country got their start on school boards where they first ruined their school district before going on to ruin their state and then their country.
Hi. Today I have Barry Weinberg.
Hey.
I.e. Barry B. Weezy, aka Barry's in the Streets, aka But You Barry Not Tell Me Nothing, aka Barry what? Barry who? Barry where? Barry shut up. Okay?
Barry Mantles.
Barry Mantles. aka Barry Bush. And because his Bush is Barry. Anyways, and the school board, those elections literally have 500 people voting. So your vote is so much more important in this because the size is so small.
It's just what kills me when people are like, oh, my vote doesn't count. I'm like, really? Because 20 people voted in your school board election. So
and so if 10 of them,
you could have flipped that.
11 person, 11 could have.
Bring 10 friends, and you've got yourself a majority.
Yep. And I think that is what's because I think what's happening now too is we're in this microwave generation where everything is fast, and we don't realize that there's a lot of steps that are required to do anything and everything, just because we're so used to it being instant. But with politics, it maintains its historical and traditional nature by just being this really slow, work your way up, you have to do the work type field that is still so important.
And you do have to do the work, but the flip of it is, if you're willing to do the work, you're almost guaranteed to get results. If you want to make a difference, show up, do the work, and suddenly you become the people controlling everything.
Yep.
And what's more is that the people who have done the work for years appreciate when others do the work, and also appreciate when people bring new skills to the table. I am involved now in a neighborhood group that's trying to rezone Morningside Heights, which is a neighborhood in Manhattan. And these are some people who've been involved in their communities for decades. I'm already useful to them because they're like, okay, who knows how to do the social media thing? I think we have a Facebook page.
And you're like, I think I have an idea of how Facebook works.
Right. And I can do that. But if you've ever had to use Salesforce for a job, build an email blast, build a website,
HTML,
use WordPress, literally
all of these skills are useful.
They're useful, and they are rare in a group of people that skews older and not necessarily technologically savvy. And so, it's work, but you can use technology to leverage the input you do and also then become more valuable because you're one of the few people that will do that. And so young people in politics, you can bring so much power because technology can be used for fundraising, it can be used for informing people of meetings, it can be used for bringing out the vote, it can be used for carving up which doors to knock and who to prioritize calling. You just have to know how to use it.
So, speaking of using technology to get things done, let's look at the Women's March a little bit. Let's kind of pick it apart to say. Personally, I thought it was very noble, but my only hesitation with it was that there was no real action plan that was presented as a result. There was no, someone I heard on a podcast that it would have been nice to have booths set up to inform people. It would have been nice to have things that were actually moving the conversation forward instead of a place for people just to gather to feel good about gathering.
Yes.
So,
and to the extent that it demonstrated the depth of opposition to Trump, it was a good thing.
That's valuable. It's totally valuable.
To the extent that it makes people feel good, it is valuable to a point.
Yes.
I don't want to say don't do things that don't make you feel good. But then take the next step, even if it's just a baby step of calling your congressperson, calling your state legislator about your priorities, even if it's just finding out who your state legislator is, even if it's just showing up to a meeting, take that next step and let yourself become involved.
The big thing is to not let the Women's March necessarily be the last step, but let it be the first in galvanizing your efforts to make sure that you're doing what you need to do so that whatever is happening now doesn't happen again or get worse.